Howdy y'all, welcome to the channel. So today's topic is tires. How many of you have replaced your tires on either your motorcycle or your car? And the question is, where have you gotten the tires from? Have you gotten them from the dealership? Have you gotten them from somewhere like what we have up here called Pep Boys, or some kind of aftermarket automotive store? Or have you gone to like TireRack.com and gotten tires there? And I guess the silly question is, if you've got them from somewhere on the internet and you found yourself a good deal and you got them shipped to you, where do you get your tires mounted? Do you take them just the rims? Probably not. You probably just take your car and you have somebody mount them for you. So that's the question of the day. So when you're shopping for tires, or wherever it is that you're shopping, make sure you check the tires that are on your bike currently and write the sizes down. You may want to Google your specific year, make, and model and see what factory size and what model tires were on that bike. If you buy your bike used, you may have no idea if the size that is on there currently is actually the right size for the bike. Some dude might have put a bigger tire on there, which, like I said, you know, don't do it. Don't do it. So the next thing I'm going to tell you is you should be checking your tire pressure on your motorcycle at least, we're going to say, once a week. I mean, you really should do it every time you ride, because obviously you only have 2 tires and your life may depend on it. Second thing is, you know, in addition to your tires, you want to check your lights, your tail lights, your turn signals, your headlight, because obviously if your tail lights aren't working, you got a big problem, and you will never notice it until it's too late. You know, your headlight, you're not going to notice if that's on or off either if you're riding. I know back in the day I used to ride with my high beam on all the time, and I didn't care, because the fact that you know, it's a safety thing. People can be mad at me for riding with my high beam on, but I know they saw me. With a cruiser, at least with my Road King, you know, the highway lights, they don't, if you have your high beam on, they will not come on. So that means that if you have your high beam on, you're only a single light. Whereas if you have regular low beams on, then all 3 lights in the front, if you have highway lights, will be on. The second thing I will tell you is every tire out there has a manufacturer date on it. It actually says on the tire what week and what year that tire was made. And the rule of thumb is getting close to 5 or 6 years is about the limit of that tire as far as age. I mean, you really don't want to take a chance by riding on old tires. And the reason I tell you this is my Road King is 10 years old, okay? It has 2,000 miles on it, and it's 10 years old. The tires that I have on my bike are original tires, and I went out and checked the manufacturer date, and they are 10-year-old tires. So people say that I should change them immediately. So I actually went out and priced tires, you know, at my dealership. Whether I'm going to get Harley Davidson on them, probably not. But Dunlop, you know, they make the tires for Harley. In my opinion, you can choose to get Harley Davidson on your tires or not, but it's the same company. And of course they have different models, tires, if you want a little longer lasting tires, or I guess if you want a little more grip. And there's discussions all over the internet as to what's the best tire. I will say, as a former parts guy at a motorcycle dealership, going wider is not a good idea. And the reason I say that is your rim is only so wide. And when you start putting a fatter compound tire on that rim, the tire basically has to come back to meet the rim. Let me show you 1 second. There are 5 important numbers on every tire. The first and most important number on your tire is the rim size, which is usually the last number. 15-inch rim, 16-inch rim, 17-inch rim, 21-inch rim. That is the most important number, because if you get that number wrong when you're looking at tires or ordering tires, it's not going to work at all. There's no fudging a 17-inch tire to fit on a 16-inch rim, or an 18-inch tire to fit on a 21-inch rim. That is the most important number, is the rim size. The next, I would say, second and third most important number is the first and the second number, which the first number is how wide is that tire? Is it a 180? Is it a 200? Is it something smaller? And again, you know, this goes along with trying to stuff a fatter tire on a rim than it's supposed to handle. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. Like I said, it generates more heat on that tire, and it takes more power to turn that fatter tire. The third number is essentially it's the sidewall, but it's a percentage. You know, usually it's a 55, 65, something like that. It's actually a percentage of the width. The next important number is what's called the load rating. Never really thought about it previous in the different bikes that I've had, because I rode sport bikes, you know, an occasional cruiser, my VTX. Load wasn't an issue because, you know, I was slim and trim. But now that I'm riding a touring bike, load comes into play. And on modern motorcycle tires, they have what's called a load rating. And I would assume, and I don't know, I'm not a tire guru, but I would assume that a lighter load rating is a softer tire, which probably gives you a little more grip. So obviously you got to have the right rim size, the right width, the right, you know, sidewall height percentage, and load rating, if you can have such an option, will affect your tire. You know, if you're a big dude on a big heavy bike, like my Road King's 800 pounds, and I'm 600 pounds, and the two of us together equal a boatload. Well, I gotta have the load rating to handle that. And if my mistress decides that she wants to ride on my bike also, just kidding, my wife, you know, the load rating is definitely coming into play. I mean, we're talking a good amount of weight between the two of us and the bike itself, and if we go anywhere, our luggage, the things that we're gonna take, you know, we go down to the shore or we go up to the mountain somewhere, well, you know, what kind of load rating can those tires handle? And like I said, you know, my Road King is the smallest of the touring family of Harley. A lot of you guys are riding street glides or road glides, or even ultra professional monkey. Load rating comes into play, and every tire has that. And the last important number is the manufacturer date. Every tire sold has a manufacturer date. And the rule of thumb is if you exceed 5-6 years, you're really pushing it too far. You know, I bought my Road King 10 years, it's 10 years old. It has 1,900 miles. I put on 100 miles or so on it already, but those are the original tires, meaning they're 10-year-old. The tires still have the nubs on them from where they made it, you know, when they made them in the mold. But what's the molecular breakdown of these tires going to be, and is it going to happen very soon? I've only ridden it, you know, 100 miles. I've taken a few trips on it, which the video is later to come, but you know, is it going to break down? And I don't trust it to go 90 miles an hour on the highway for extended period of times. I mean, I'm going to probably get new tires here within a week. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. So let's say, I don't know if I can do it. Let's say that your tire looks like that, okay? The original size tire on the rim that's appropriate, you know, for your bike that it came with, OEM rim. So if you put a fatter tire on, notice how that sidewall has to come back more to meet the rim. So what do you think is going to make a tire fail? It's the heat and the fact that you are curving that tire to come back to that rim. That's a bad idea. It's going to prematurely wear out your tire, or more specifically your sidewall. And the second thing is, if you look at a tire and it's now like this, what happens when you lean it? It's just bad news. And the second thing I'm going to tell you is, you know, if you put a fatter tire on your bike, it takes more power to turn that tire. So really, are you gaining anything other than a cool look? I would say no. I would say, if you want to be, if you instead of putting on a fatter tire, put on a better tire. If you want to be a little more sticky, be a little more sticky. There's millions of tires out there in the size that you need, front and back. So I would say, you know, maybe get a better tire, get a little something more grippy. Of course, a grippier tire isn't going to do the mileage, and you know me, now that I'm a touring bike kind of guy, grip is not my primary concern. It's more of durability and it's longevity. How many miles can I get? I'm reading all over the internet that American Elite tires made by Dunlop, which is fairly new tire, is better than the stock OEM tires from Harley. They of course make my size. They make, you know, tons and tons of sizes for all kinds of bikes. People say they're getting 16,000 miles. You can always assume that you're going to get twice the mileage out of a front tire than you are compared to a back tire. But don't take a chance. Don't risk it. Don't push your tire. Again, my goal next summer is I'm going to ride to see my uncle in Florida. So I can imagine I'm going to be cruising down the highway at probably 90 miles an hour. I think he's 15 hours away. Well, obviously the only thing that keeps me moving is my tires, and I don't want to risk an accident or worse by having a tire blowout or a problem. I mean, things happen, but you try to do the best you can to prevent something bad from happening. So that's the tire lesson for today. Please subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up if you like it, and give me some comments and we'll talk about tires. Have a good one.